All right, news just dropped about the upcoming Age of Empires 4 DLC for the end of 2025. We have a date, we have perspective on the content, and we maybe have a mixture of feelings about what's to come. Yes, that's right. Dynasties of the East has now been announced. This will be the DLC releasing on November the 4th of 2025. They've confirmed the date, and apparently we have got details on what's coming. We get 8 unique new maps, new biomes, but no one cares about that. I know what you guys really came for. We've got new civilizations coming in, but the thing that might disappoint people is that none of them are new. No, we are simply getting variant civs. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. We got some screenshots to look through over here. So it looks like we're getting variant civs of the Mongols, the Delhi, the Japanese, and the Byzantines. And before we get into like the nitty-picky of each image, one thing I want to emphasize to people is I know there's already going to be a lot of outrage on only variant civs, and I feel you. I love original civs. But hear me out. If variant civs are done in a very deep and meaningful way, it's worth it. Knights Templar and Lancaster are different civs. They may be called variant, but they play very differently. They have very different styles. So I want you guys to keep an open mind as we have a little bit of a look in on what we've got here. So we can see already that difference, by the way. So we're going to have the 4 variants. It's going to be the Tughlaq dynasty, which is the Delhi variant. We've got the Sengoku daimyo, which is the Japanese variant. The Macedonian dynasty coming in as the Byzantine variant. And finally, we've got the Golden Horde, which I think is the one that most of us could have predicted for the Mongols. So yes, looking at this, I already feel like the Delhi one is quite different. It looks like we're going to have essentially what Gurs should be, moving drop-off buildings, which are elephants to the Delhi, as well as a lot of different elephants. It looks like smaller war elephants as well as giant springle type elephants. So maybe this civ just has that instead of siege. There's also something very interesting. You guys see that? What is that? Do you guys see that? That's not a mango. And that looks like it's a relic on it. So we've got something new coming in. I don't know if this is a Delhi-specific thing or what, but it looks like there is some sort of relic car or cart coming through. So relic carts is an intriguing idea. I wonder what that's actually going to do exactly. Definitely something new that I imagine is not just Civ-specific. I can't imagine how that would be relevant for the Delhi. But outside that, we can see here, this looks like this is going to be the Sengoku daimyo. So we have got some similar Japanese ships. I don't think there's anything too different there. We have, however, got new units coming in. Are you guys seeing that in the pictures? So check this. What are those? These things right here with the big clubs. So it looks like we're getting some sort of blunt force unit, maybe like a men-at-arms-esque unit. The cavalry also looks very different, but the other thing I'm noticing... Yeah, so we've got... These are the clubber boys from behind. Are you guys seeing that in the back? There's something else. What are these? Those aren't hand cannoneers. Those are something else. So it looks like the Sengoku are not only going to have these clubs, these maybe tanks of some kind, but they also seem to have arquebusiers. Look at the shape of the gun. It's a little bit pixelated, but it's very thin as it trims through, almost like a musket. So we're not getting your standard hand cannoneers. We're getting some sort of musketeer type unit, which would be arquebusiers, if my history is correct, for the Japanese era. But we also have some different looking cavalry. These don't look like your standard horsemen, so I'm kind of curious on this one. I wonder if there's anything else. Let me know if you see anything else in each of these screenshots in the comments down below afterwards. But next up, we are going to be looking at what must clearly be the Golden Horde here. So Golden Horde is going to be the Mongol variant. I'm already noticing some weird differences here. These outposts, or whatever they are, they look like outposts anyway. They literally look like Chinese outposts. Look way too big. So I'm wondering what the purpose is. The interesting thing, by the way, is that the Golden Horde right here is using essentially Chinese architecture for their outposts. So I'm wondering if this is maybe like some sort of static emplacement or something. Okay, this is really cool. It looks like we're actually getting the pasture change we've been discussing on stream before. You guys remember when we talked about this, the idea of Mongols having a building a little bit like a ranch that you could garrison inside of to gather sheep? Well, apparently, the Golden Horde is going to get exactly that. we've got these little pasture areas where you garrison villages. That's really cool. So presumably, this is a way that villagers will be safe inside, that you have to kill the building to access them. Yeah, actually really curious to see overall what the big changes are going to be with Golden Horde. We're seeing a few here. We're not seeing... Wait, we're seeing some sort of unit down here. He's got some sort of lamp. Maybe this is some sort of new aura coming out. I'm not really sure what to make of this guy right now. We also have a new icon appearing on this guy down here. Next up, we are going to be looking at... This must be the Byzantine variant, which is going to be the Macedonian dynasty. What are we getting different? Oh, actually, like, it looks like we're getting a few things different off the bat. Yeah, they have a very different looking spearman here. They also seem to have a different cataphract. So this is not your standard cavalry. Maybe it's like, I don't want to say the companion cavalry of Alexander. That feels like out of scope. It's something similar. We also do not have olive oil. Okay, so that's a really big change. So a Byzantine variant. I'm kind of happy with this idea. We mentioned that what we're really looking for with variants is a completely different way of playing them. And I think we can agree a Byzantine civ that do not use olive oil is big. And someone's saying they trade silver? You might be right. We've got an effect over here. Yeah, look, you can see it. There's the silver right there. So this civ seems to have access to silver based on gold generation. And it looks like we've got some very different structures. So we've got something back here that looks like it might be either a blacksmith type or it'd be some sort of siege workshop. We've also got... Is that a Viking camp? Yeah, we've got a Viking camp. That's a Varangian ship. So we know that the Varangians activate for the Byzantines. Maybe the Macedonians have some other types of Vikings. We can even see a very different looking type of spear here. So this looks like more of a berserky type spear. And this looks like some sort of maybe multifaceted production building or an archery range. I don't know why the archery range looks so beefy, but I'm curious to see that in action. Is there anything from this angle? It looks mainly just like an archery range from the outside. But a little bit of an insight into Byzantine. So I wonder what we're going to be getting with this silver, what you're able to do with it. Outside that, next up, we've got more from the Sengoku. So Sengoku, looking at this one, a lot more visibility on the units. We were correct. You can see it this very clearly this time. If you look down here, you can see this is an arquebusier. So this is not your standard hand cannoneer unit. We're getting something new and different. I'm curious, though, on whether it's going to be castle or imperial, because normally you have hand cannoneers or you have something like what, Janissaries. We did get a new early form of hand cannoneers, which was with the Lancastrians. You just never see people play them. And we have got the big clubber boys. Dude, they look so wild, actually. I hope it's the most ridiculous little clonk when they get in combat. Outside that, we have something that almost looks like a marketplace that's being built around as a mill. Maybe marketplaces are drop-off buildings for everything? And wait a second, what's that? We have some sort of new structure here. It looks like some sort of food drop-off building of some kind, and that would make sense why they put it next to the boar. I'm very intrigued to find out more about what exactly this does, as that is a very standoutish building, right? It might be similar to the drop-off elephants we're now getting for the Delhi. It might be that Japan has essentially Uvu type things. But yeah, it looks like it's got something to do with food. I'm not entirely sure what. And we are getting some sort of new blacksmiths here. This on the side, let me just get the PCSpecialist thing out of the way. This might be some sort of... I mean, it looks very beefy. It actually could be some sort of landmark, which, by the looks of it, would have some sort of impact on either food or blacksmith decks. And then we do have another beauty up here. This almost looks like it's religious-based, so I wonder actually what you're going to get out of this. Dare I predict a new type of religious unit? We did already get the Buddhist monks for the Japanese, but it's possible getting an entirely new type one. And this also has my attention. You guys noticing this? The Bannerman thing? I do wonder if there's like some sort of correlation between this guy here. Like, why do you only have one knight? And you also don't have any stables, right? And if you... Ooh, that's interesting. There's different banners. Different style building, slightly in different banners. So maybe this is an adaptation of the Bannerman system. If you guys remember with Japan, that's been a key component of their existence. Because the goal here with variants is you want to change it up as much as possible, but kind of anchor some similar forms. So looks like some sort of different system for the Bannerman, which functions around buildings, separate buildings, instead of just building them out of the archery range and racks like you do with Japan. Next, oh, dude, this is a great shot. Look at them. Delhi's back. Yo, okay, these look sick. We've got giant ballista elephants. You guys asked, and they obliged. And we can confirm, look at that. That's got to clearly be drop-off elephants. They're carrying a bunch of golden stone in them, as well as, like, hail on the back. And the war elephants do look a lot smaller than Delhi's war elephants. I love that for the Delhi variant, they're just like, yeah, more elephants. Because actually, in fairness, people responded really well in Sultan's Ascend to the camel spam from the Ibids. I think people like that identity of just leaning hard into the unique unit. So it looks like we're getting more shots from the Japanese. There is a big monument in the background that almost looks like the wonder of some kind. I don't know, like, what else could that be, actually? Maybe some sort of building that has an aura, but, like, static auras feel pretty rough. I am curious to see what this is actually going to be. Because it doesn't seem to be something that has structures built around it. But yeah, we are getting those carts again. And once again, we can see they're near boar. So there seems to be some direct relationship between the carts and boar. It does seem to be some sort of food-oriented interaction. Just curious that we haven't got any villagers or anything gathering here. So wondering what we're actually going to get out of that. Outside that, okay, this one's going to require a lot of zoom. Is there anything... I think this is too pixelated to dive into too much, guys. Oh my god, the size of this... Wait, guys! Guys! 400 pop unlock? 400 pop unlock? That's more than 200, right? Could we be getting a population increase? That's kind of a crazy idea, actually. But looking at the size of the army... I mean, someone can do the counting. I'm not going to do it live on stream off this video. But like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15. Another 15 here, right? Scale that back. Times 4 alone. You're looking at, let's say, roughly 60 on, between this front line. This is definitely more than 200 pop. So something is up. And they're all pink, right? I believe so, yeah. It looks like these ones are slightly purpley, but I think they are all pink as just shading. So it looks like there's going to be a way of getting more than 200 population. If they make that change, that could end up being the single largest change to Age of Empires 4 ever. The ramifications of allowing more population is wild. But this isn't looking like a free-for-all, so I don't know if this is really Dominion. The weird part, though, is Green's army is really small, so, like, I don't know, maybe they've introduced a mechanic where you can pay a lot of resources to buy extra population. I just wonder if that helps booming a little bit too much. So I'm not sure about this. I'm intrigued, but I'm not sure I'm happy about the idea of more population. Up next, though, we have got another shot coming in from the field. This one doesn't seem to reveal too much. No, I believe... Is this the Mongols? I think this is the Golden Horde. They have got... No, it's just a scimitar. There's literally nothing special about this shot. And then finally, the final screenshot we've got is another either landmark or wonder. This is a very big... Wait, is that Tokugawa's tower? The Edo... Was it Edo Castle I'm thinking of? That might be like the Edo Castle. It's this type of structure. Ah, no, that would make sense for a monument then. The Toshogu Shrine, because it's something religious. Outside that, it looks like we cannot see... Wait, what? Okay, guys, that's a huge difference. Are you guys seeing this? It looks like we're actually going to be getting samurai... Archer Samurai. Anyone who's played Total War Shogun 2 knows where I'm going with this. We are getting samurai archers. It looks like there's a hybrid unit coming for Japan, so they're getting the Ibid treatment. Samurai archers. That's crazy. And they still have standard archers as well. So presumably they're not going to get Odachi tech, so the samurai is going to have a very different role. But this seems very reminiscent of the recent Earl's Guard with the hybrid attack. I wonder if it's more like Earl's Guard or more like the Desert Raiders where you can permanently switch to one and back and forth. But looks like those are the screenshots we've got. We're going to have a look. My